So the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, is not getting back up. I don't know. I think it really hits me, and it made me see life in a different way. I grew up too fast. I'm in the midst of people. Even Mr. Chuba will say I'm older than my age. People see me and like I'm 30. That's what they say, but I'm not even close to 30, right? But it was just because I had to grow up. I had to really grow up fast, you know.
Sometimes it's the man's upbringing. Some men were brought up in wealth, opulence, right? So they don't know how to react when they lose their source of wealth, right? Maybe your dad was like that. Maybe, he was born into wealth, and, for him, it's like, what am I going to go and be doing again, right? So sometimes some men need to be reprogrammed. Someone like my father, he grew up in a place called Irolu Remo, which is in like the Jebu side, the Remo side of Ogun State. When I go to my father's town, I'm like, so this guy grew up here, had the dream in his head that he was going to go to school, went to America, he was invited by his brother to America, came to America, went to school, and decided to think of how he was going to come back and what he was going to do here now, and became so rich, right, that he built his house in Lagos, in Allen Avenue at 29.
Oh, word.
Yes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He built his house at 29. Aladdin Market today, my father owned it. That's land. But the government now exchanged the place at Oregon for him, for that place, So this guy was a big boy on all ends. Now, every time he fell, he always found a way to rise up again. Probably he never got back to that level, but he always found a way to. Why? Because he knows that, man, I know if they sleep on top bicycle, I got to move. You got to keep moving. That's life as a man. You have to keep moving. But if you are somebody that grew up in wealth, you might just think that, it will always come. Something will come.
Yeah.
Now you start depending on inheritance or something. Like I always tell people, nobody owes you anything. Even your father, it doesn't owe you anything. Your father, your mother, they don't owe you jack, right? But if you believe they owe you something, fine. Good luck to you. But don't live based on what they have. Live on what, because these people, they didn't have anything, Probably their father. Maybe we still have people that can counsel us. This is Letters to Boys podcast. Boys will listen to it. They'll get better. It will transform their lives, right? Then, do they have podcasts?
Yeah.
Do they have people that will talk to them? And some of them still made it. Look at his father. Do you understand? Who was talking to him? It was from things he saw. So life was even harder for them then.
So in addition to what Mr. Shobo was just said, I think that sometimes the whole losing a job thing, the rate at which a man would be eager to actually get back into the system sometimes is dependent on the partner. Now, my point is, if you have a partner that is understanding, that is willing to cheer you on in those moments where you lose your job, and then motivate you and inspire you and do all of those things, there is a possibility that you'd be willing to take a chance to get that thing going again.
Yes.
But if you don't have a partner that would give you all that moral support, probably somebody that would damage your spirit and just say, you're useless, you're this, leave you, take the children and all of that, those things can actually affect.
Very true. Very true.
But that's scenario, that's ideal. Now, a scenario is you have that kind of partner, but as the guy, you don't listen to what she says. And she's been lingering on for years, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Nothing is going on. And she has kids now.
She has to get moving.
Yeah.
She has to get moving. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But there are two ways to it. There's another angle to that story. So there's one thing for you to tell a man something. There's another thing to tell him the way he will listen to you.
Yeah.
What if you've tried everything?
You can't say you've tried everything, because a lot of things some things that women don't know is there are tones that you use to communicate with men.
Yes.
That they will listen to you.
Yes.
Right? We have voice talents, we know about vocal awareness. You don't just talk to a man anyhow with any kind of tone. You are using your head voice. That's where when you're talking to your wife, you use your head voice. Sorry, your husband. Use your head voice, right? Communicate sympathy. Communicate kindness, sweetness, Don't just open your mouth and say, so what are you doing now? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you think he will listen to you? He won't listen to you. Do you understand? So that's another angle. She might have done that, but the truth is, what if she did not do that, right? Because some men, let me give you an example. There was a time I did a job and I wasn't paid for a while, right? And my daughter was just born, my first daughter. I was used to give my wife money to buy stuff, for her diapers and the rest of that. But that day, unfortunately, she was ill. I spent my life savings on her to keep her alive. She had what they said, it was sepsis or something funny, on bacteria infection. I spent over $500,000, right, on that girl. And her diaper now finished when we were at the hospital. I didn't have Jack on me. Jack. My God, I was downcast for days. So when they discharged her, we got back home. I was just looking like a morose. Like, so I cannot give my wife money that I normally would give her to buy diapers. Not because I'm lazy, not because I've done work that I have not been paid for, right? And I've now in life savings already have been given to this girl's health problem. Now, what do? Guess what happened? Guess what fired me up? My wife came to me and she said, "What's wrong with you? Why are you acting this way?" I said, "Maybe, please, I'm not in the mood, She said, "What's your problem? You're not a lazy man. Do you understand? You have done this over and over again. This is just a phase, Don't die here. You can't, this is just a phase of our lives, man. This is not how we're going to be forever, And, she was able to get somebody to, buy that, right? Buy the diapers, and the baby was supposed to, and say like 2 weeks after, I was able to get another job, and, I fired on, right? And of course I still, so if I didn't have a partner that was understanding, and that could give me that, just
the word needed for the moment.
That I needed for that moment.
Yes.
I might have just gone into depression and be saying, "Oh, I can never make it in my life again." No. Tones are very important too. When you're talking to a man, it's very, very important.
Or anyone.
Exactly, anybody.
Yeah. I know another thing is, in this kind of scenario, the man might have had things going on with him before losing his job. So say, for example, someone has been in depression before losing his job, and then he loses his job and it becomes even more complex. And then the partner might be trying, but then what she might be doing at the time might not be enough, or she might not understand what he's actually going through that would help him get back in line. Do you get my point? So sometimes it's not all about, the tone and everything, because that's why they say in marriages and all these things, you need to understand your partner well, so that when something is not right, you understand that, something is not right, and then this is the approach you take to actually make sure that, this person gets himself back. And so that it really, really matters between couples. It's their relationship and all of that.
So now let's spiral back to this guy now. So this guy sort of represents a lot of guys who have like some form of resentment, who are angry with their dads. I mean, Father's Day was which day? A couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And I asked a number of my guys, I'm like, "Did you wish your popsy happy Father's Day?" They said no. I'm like, "Why you not staying in the same house?" They said, "So why you not come wish him happy Father's Day?" Say, "I don't feel like waiting day there. Nothing." Right? Right? So what we say to guys that have resentment, right, towards their dad, and they're struggling with it, they don't really know how to deal with it. Maybe to forgive, or they don't know how to initiate. Because me, I'm struggling with talking to my popsy. We've really not been close.
Like, whose fault? Is it your fault or his fault? Like, has he made himself accessible to be able to, for you to be able to talk to him, or you're the one that just doesn't want to?
I think it's both ways.
Yes, I actually agree.
I think it's both ways, because I feel like Femi's comfortable now, right? If he wasn't comfortable, maybe he would have made that move. But because he's comfortable and he's not dependent on the man, it's like, I'm okay, I'm fine.
Yeah, I agree with him.
But I think what he should do, and I told him a couple of times, and I don't know why he's scared to do it. Go and sit this man down. If you don't want to, take him out. Tell him, "Daddy, I have it. Both of us have a date. We're going out. Take him to a nice restaurant. say, Daddy, I want to talk to you. I want us to have a conversation. What is going on? You know, let him feel some way that he has not felt before. You know, I won't feel that the man doesn't feel loved. You know, I personally feel so. You get what I'm saying? Now, some people say, is he not the one that's supposed to be loving him? Of course. But in that situation where he's not, why don't you be the what's it called? The higher party, and go to him and say, Daddy, you know, for example, I can count how many times on my hand my father paid my school fees. Then I started working. I started making money. Then my mom would say, take something to him. To who? Take something to him. Bless him. Look at this woman. I'm still trying to bless you. You're telling me to go and bless this man. Yeah. You know? And anytime she tells me that, I'll say, why would my mother be telling me that? Sit back. I'll go back to my room and just think about it. Say, well, I don't understand what she's saying, but let me do it. And then I'll take some part of the money I've made. One day I bought him palm slippers, I bought him a perfume, and now put money in an envelope. You know, but let me tell you something. When I gave him those things, guess what? I've never seen my father laugh and smile like that. His grin was so wide. Just say, yes. You know, so like, okay, now I see what this one is saying. You know, yes. Yeah, sit down. You know, even though he didn't know how to say thank you so much. He said he told me thank you. Well, he said thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. You know, but I'm sure that he wanted to express it much more, right? But he didn't know how to. But for me, I felt at peace with myself. You know, when I look back now, I don't have regrets, right? Maybe the only regret was that maybe I didn't see him in the hospital when he was ill, right? But regrets of doing things for him, I thank God I was able to bless my father in his lifetime. You know, when we always have regrets is when these people go. I pray that none of our fathers will go any time from now. But you see, when they go, that's when I say, I should have. And that's because we think that they will live forever.
Yeah.
Right? When you know, if God showed us, right, the expiry date of every soul on this earth, the way we relate to them will be differently.
Yes.
You know? So I've told Femi a couple of times, you know, you have money. Go. Take this man out. Take him. Your house is close to Sheraton. Your house is close to Daddy. Let's go. I just want to take you out. You will laugh. You say,
we guys don't talk at all.
You know, we talk, but you know, that bond is not there like you and your dad now.
It's not like when I watch your YouTube video. Sometimes I could just sit back and say,
if you vex. You know, so it's just I feel like you just have to man up and let me say man up before they come for me now.
Yeah.
You know, but just brace up, talk to him. He might not know the way to talk to you. He might even have it. What you're thinking, he might be thinking it.
Yes.
But might not know how to come to you.
Yes.
Right?
Totally
I think you should just, you know, try to brace up and just go to him and say, you know what, Pops, I need to take you out. Let's go out, you know. And then you just tell him, ask him questions that have been on your mind. What is going on with this and this? You know, how has your, you know, since you lost your job, what's your mindset like? Understand where he's coming from. Because it's easy to judge him from where he is.
Yeah.
You know? Some things you'll be shocked when he tells you. You'll just be shocked. Just like, he? You know, so I mean,
that man won't live forever. That's the
exactly.
Can never live
bro,
forever.
that thing scares me, man.
That's the thing. That's the thing. You have to face your fear and then
face
do
it.
what you can.
Face
what
your
you can
fears.
on your own part to mend the relationship.
You're talking to yourself too.
Yes, of course. I'm talking to
Let me tell you guys something. Don't be part of the people that go to their father's burials or funerals, or you know, and go and start pretending there, like you guys had, you know, when they tell
He was
you,
a great man.
Yeah.
they tell you to give tribute. You know, say my dad was a good guy. You know, he did this.
He was a
that,
great guy.
you know, be
Experience him.
let it be an experiential thing that you're talking about. That my father, do you know, my father, we had this relationship, it wasn't really cool, but I intentionally made sure that I got closer to him. And God willing and God helping me, I was able to do that. And so happened. Don't just leave it to chance and say, whatever happened, let it happen.
We have work to do, man. So real quick, everybody, you just say what's the best thing your dad ever did to you, and what's like the worst thing that he has ever done to you? So who wants to go first? The best thing he has done, or the best gesture he has shown you. Okay, I'll go first. The best thing. Well, I won't say the best, but the one that really shocked me, he shook me, that he has done was, I finished eating and my plates were on the bed in the room. And he just walked in. And he said, let me help you take this plate to the kitchen. Doing how far? Something they have. It's one of the things that has really.
Yeah, my dad does that all the time.
He does it all the time.
All the time.
So he did it once. I'm like, do you have it happened or something?
So can you see what I'm saying? He might have been finding a way to reach out, but not know how to.
Yes.
Do you understand? That's what
I understand.
And the reason why Femi is even thinking like this is because he has access to information, right? He has access to information to say, this is not how me and my father should behave or should relate, right? This man doesn't have access to information. You don't have access to the information you have. I'm not trying to make an excuse for him, but a lot of them have failed, right?
Yeah.
But if we stay on their path of failure, we too will become failures like that, So yeah, continue.
So the worst.
Yeah.
Is not getting back up. I don't know. Really. I think it really hits me, and it made me see life in a different way. I grew up too fast. I'm in the midst of people. Even Mr. Chuba will say I'm older than my age. People see me and like I'm 30. That's what they say, but I'm not even close to 30, right? But it was just because I had to grow up. I had to really grow up fast, So yeah, I think that one hit me as well. So who's go next? The best and the worst. Yeah, best and the worst.
Okay, let me go. So I can't pinpoint the best thing, but I'll just say from like recent memory. So maybe when my dad got my ring light, it seems so small. Like if it was like 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's normal. He gets me a ring light. But at this point in time, when he got me the ring light, he didn't have a lot, and I know he didn't have a lot at that point in time. And he gave me the whole money to buy the ring light. The ring light cost I don't like right now. I look at it like it doesn't cost that much, but at that point in time, it's like it was more of like it pained, like it hurt him to buy it, but he didn't even show me at all. But I knew he didn't have that much. Like my mom would reveal so many things to me that he doesn't tell me. So that was like best thing I feel like this man had done, because every other thing, if I want to say traveling, he could afford traveling, like he could do it without it paining him. But the one that actually know that like shit, like I don't even understand why. Yeah. Imagine you have like 10,000 in your account and your child asks you for something that is worth 9K. Yeah. Now imagine you had $1 million and you asked for something that is worth 9K. That one is more. That one means a lot to me. Like, oh shit, like he really sacrificed everything for me, and that ring light has actually got me where I am today, partly of where I am today. Because now without that ring light, I won't shoot videos. Like nobody will know my name, nobody will know anything. And then the worst thing, I'll say he slapped me when I called my sister stupid. That's like the worst thing that he has done. That I can remember. Yeah, my dad doesn't hit me. He doesn't do any of that. But he slapped me that day, and I remember very well. And I'll tell you what paid me was the fact that I called her stupid, and I did that because my dad was driving out, so I knew he was not going to hear. My sister went above and beyond to go outside to tell him. Then he came back inside, and I'm like, what's the point of me calling her stupid when? Do you understand? I would never do that if it was inside there, but I already saw him going out. I'm like, okay, yeah. So you are stupid, and then she went outside, and yeah, he came inside and slapped me. That was like the worst thing I feel like he has done. Yeah.
To be honest, I don't have a best thing. I don't, because we don't have a relationship, so there's no best thing.
Real talk. Real talk. It's just being real.
There's no best thing. And then the worst thing, okay, besides the fact that, okay, he's not there as my dad, I'd say there was a time when I think I had just finished from secondary school then, because of my dad, a lot of things in my life have been scattered. Because at different times when I tried to mend our relationship and just try to get things on, he just did things that made my own life scatter. Now, at that point in time, I had finished secondary school, and different things that happened. They told me I was going to die before 16, and many things, I scaled through. I was happy that, I made it past 16, and I was trying to. No, there was health issues, there were spiritual attacks and all of that. Apparently, my father's side had spiritual issues too, which was one of the major issues with the marriage and all of that. So after crossing 16, I felt like, I won the battle. So, we can establish a relationship now. And then I gave him my number, hoping that he would probably try to reach out and establish the relationship. But then I gave you my number so that you can communicate with me. And then you went ahead and gave your father, which is meant to be my grandfather. And then he called me one day all of a sudden, and he just used a commanding tone to tell me that I should start coming to their village immediately, like as if he was using jazz on the phone. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, I gave you my number so that, we can build something. You did not bother to call me, but you're giving somebody else the number to call me. And the way the man was speaking, that it was like he was using jazz, because the way he said it was like, wherever I was, he said it in Yoruba, that come up, like, leave where you are right now and start heading for this location. And in my mind, I'm like, nah, jazz, I'll be waiting to happen. So I think that's the worst thing for me. I gave you I gave you the opportunity to build a relationship, and then you just, yeah.
Wow. For me, I've had a lot of best moments with my father. What I call it best, but good moments, really good moments. My father. First was that father's blessing he gave me at my introduction. I still, sometimes I just go back and watch that video, blessed me and my wife so. He kept saying from the bottom of my heart, my father prays. My father was a guy man, right? But the day I heard my father speak in tongues, I say, and it was that day. Trust me, when I was kneeling down with my wife, when he started speaking tongues, both of us looked up like this, because we're like, huh? What is happening? So I feel like that was God's spirit just leading him. And when he was blessing me, he kept hitting his chest. From the bottom of my heart, I pray for you. You will never lack. You will never, So for me, that's the best. Obviously, other good times, when he gave me a car. He gave me one of my first cars. That was a Primera, one Primera wagon like this, manual drive. That was a good gesture. He just said he was gonna give me the car. He said, I'll give you a car. Don't worry. And then the third time was when I think he watched me on TV, and he kept saying, I'm proud of you, I'm proud of you, I'm proud of you. Yeah, I'm proud of you. You just maybe somebody comes and just say, did you see my son on TV? He was on TV. Yeah, he was on TV. So yeah, those things made me happy. Worst time or worst moments with my father. There were a couple of worst moments too. Of course, the day that, I brought that list to him and he was telling me, I should get. Then there was a time, my school fees was due, and my mom had called him to see, and I had called him as well, to speak to him. Then he now told us to come and collect a check, right? And then when we collected that check, thinking that, oh yes, I collected check bounce like anything.
Whoa!
I was so angry, I was mad. It's like, give us a bounce check. If you don't have money, just say you don't have money. That's all. We look for the money. But I thank God, we're here today.
Let me just add this. So I feel like some of the things that that people have gone through with their fathers, like bad moments, I feel like I would have experienced some of it too if I didn't have a good mom. Because I feel like sometimes I don't know how to say, but the way you say Ashiria Bowl, So she always tried to find a way to
cover up.
cover up when he couldn't meet up to a certain point. So
That's why I'm telling you that
that's
your
why-
parents, their
So
parents.
that's why
Yeah.
that's why I can't
Yeah.
personally see any bad part, because I never knew if he didn't have money to pay for school fees. In my own mind, he did. So my mom, and I know that my mom sometimes also helped out. So there's sometimes I'm pretty sure, like, knowing my mentality now and knowing that not everything is easy. Like, making money is not easy. I'm pretty sure there's some point in time where he didn't have money to do something, but my mom stepped in place. Now, if my mom didn't, at that point, right now, I'll be saying I blame my dad for not paying my school fees for that. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly. I feel like sometimes most of the time, behind every like strong man is also like
Yeah, I totally agree.
Shout out to the women that
Yes.
actually support their men, and shout out to the mothers that have also covered up for the men. I always tell people that, I meet a lot of single mothers here and there, and I tell them, I'm always happy to meet single mothers, not because, I was born like that, but because I feel like they have an opportunity to make a great man, just like me.
Yes.
A great woman, right?
Yes.
So what I always tell them is just make sure that because with all the times and all the things that my father had done, my mother never, and I quote it, anybody can quote me anyway, my mother never said any bad thing about him. She never told me, your father is just a stupid man. Never,
My
never.
mom too.
So just keep praying for him. You just keep praying, and I always give my mom that respect, And of course, even my dad even respected that a lot. Always respected that a lot,
Your mom never spoke about it.
Never.
A good woman, because most of the time women bad.
Yeah,
mouth
no,
their-
naturally.
I was about to ask him,
Yeah.
like, did your mom ever? I was going to. I'm like, nah, don't let me do it. But
Never.
I was going to ask,
Sometimes even
like,
when they're beating you, say, foolish boy.
Yeah.
See, you are just like your father.
Yeah,
you
never.
judge that man that doesn't have sense.
Yeah,
But, when you're a single mother, you didn't choose that life,
she could have made your
Sometimes-
relationship with your dad way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure there's some things you don't know that
Well,
should have
oh.
kept. Should
Yeah.
have kept from, like, my days. Like, we were that strong.
There are some
Like,
things that you wouldn't have silent tears for.
Yes.
That she might not be able to tell you, right?
Yes.
Maybe she'll tell you when you're much older.
Yeah.
But you see, we must thank mothers like that, because they are just protecting the relationship that the son and the father are supposed to have, or the children and the father are supposed to have.
I agree.
So shout out to those kind of mothers.
Yes.
Shout out to all the fathers taking care of their children, like OBAs.
Yes.
Shout out to you, sir. Much respect, sir. And please mentor many men like us too.
Yeah.
So that
better.
we have more fathers like that, right? And to the fathers that are, if you're a father that you're watching this, or you are one of those men that have been doing anyhow, you're doing anyhow. Always remember, right, that at some point in your life, right, when these children are successful, you will start claiming them.
Yes.
You will start claiming them as your own children. You say, "Oh, that's my son. That's my son."
Yes.
And let me tell you the truth. They are not your son. They might be the same blood. You might have given their mother the seed. But you see, there are other people that, some people say it takes a community or a village to raise people.
Yes.
There are other people that, like, how can I talk about my life without talking about my pastor, right? That's a solid man, a solid man who made sure that I turned out at least sane to the society, right? In the society. So, so there are other people. So don't just come and be claiming. Those children that can become anything. If you have a son or a daughter now, and you maybe gave birth to them out of wedlock, look for them. If you're married with your spouse, and you are treating your children anyhow, please try to review how you're relating with them, because listen, these things are becoming memories daily, and at the end of the day, you just find out that it has become a bad memory, and you don't want your children living with bad memories about you.
Also, in addition, sorry. If you can't afford to have a child, don't have one.
Don't.
Exactly.
Please don't.
No, but for real now.
Some people look at having children as an investment. It is not, like, children are not investments. You'll say, like, let me say something. My dad's former driver here, I don't want to put him on blast. You probably won't see this, but I'll put him on blast. Like, how much drivers earn a month? 50,000, 60,000. This man has like 6 children, 4 to 6 children. Like, you shouldn't have that much children on. Like, bro, 50,000 should even like normally on your own. It's not even.
Well, let me break it down
Come
to you.
on now.
You know that too is there's a difference. Maybe because now I'm married, I can understand. You know, when people do not have anything to do like that, right? Or when they do not have enough, they resign to sex.
Sex will be like
Right.
sports.
And sometimes
Recreational activity.
exactly. Now this sex, they don't think about protection. Or, some of them will say, even family planning. No. Hey, if children come, that's where you go be. And like you said also, some also think that it's an investment.
Yeah, this man literally told me,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to have more. Like, when they grow up, they'll take care of me. Like, no. No, like, literally.
Fact. Some people think like that.
No,
yeah.
he said it before, like, they'll take care of me. He'll say that even you say when you grow up, you help them out so that they'll take care of me. I'm like, are you serious, this nigga? I was laughing with him about it. I'm like, nah, he doesn't work with us anymore, Sha. Bye-bye.
But okay, now we're almost done with this. Moving forward now, as young guys, right? We are going to become fathers one day if we decide to, right? What?
You don't want to get picking.
Eh?
You don't want to get picking.
No. Some people actually don't want to have kids.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, well, actually, it's not a must. But
Yes,
really.
some people don't want to
I'm
have
sure
kids.
you want to have kids.
Me, of course, I want to have kids. Maybe like 2, rough play, maybe 3. But as young guys, what certain things do you feel we need to look out for? What should we be doing better so that we don't repeat history again? Because most times you say, I don't want to be like my father. I don't want to be like my father. 10 years, 20 years down the line, you have kids. You just realize that you are replaying what happened.
Yeah.
What are the certain things you just feel that, guys, as youngins, man, like,
I think the first thing is evolve with these children. Like, what is happening now is not what's going to happen in the next 20 years.
Yes.
There's some things that you don't know about. Like, evolve your parenting method. Like, I'm not going to do the same thing my father did for me or is doing for me right now. I'm going to understand my children, how to train them. Like, you don't always resort to shouting. Like, there's some ways where you can mentally speak to your children. Like, they will understand that, okay, they are messing up. Don't all the time you hit, slap, shout, all this. Like, just evolve them. Try to understand them as much as possible, because that's the only thing. Like, that's the thing you can do. Like, you can't do more than that. Except you want to start messing up. And if you mess up, you are bringing out children that will treat their own children worse way like that. Like, just really understand your children. I feel like that's what I'll tell any father or any parent. Understand your children, know who they are, and train them accordingly.
how about as young as guys we never marry or their planning was that, or like what things you think like we need to do like differently?
See, my own mind cannot go there right now.
Well, for me, I think as young guys, if we're going to get it right in probably marriage or parenting, the first thing is, it's good to explore, but then try to get a partner that complements you and understands you in all aspects. First of all, somebody who can be your play partner. I mean, understand you and all of that, and then intentionally develop yourself to want to be the best father you can be, best father possible. And processes of intentionally, fine, some people don't have experiences with children until they give birth to their own, but then if it's possible to at least have some experience before giving birth to these children, try to have some of it. Because the reason why I'm saying this is because I have experience with a lot of children, and when I come across children, it's usually easy for me to relate with them and all. But for somebody that doesn't have experience with children, the moments they come across children, they're like get out, like just leave my side, you're disturbing me, or try to have a little experience handling children before getting into marriage and parenting and all of that. So yeah.
What do you want me to talk about?
Like, so for you, okay, you're married, you have kids, so you are speaking from two different perspectives.
Right.
As youngins, what do you think we guys can do better to become better fathers and better human beings? Number one, right? As youngins, and eventually when we get married and have kids.
First of all, I always tell people, when you understand the road or the journey that the ones that have gone before you have passed, when you understand how they got there and the road they took, you're able to now avoid those turnings, right? Those bumps, because somebody has gone somewhere before. I've gone to a street in Lekki, right? And you are going to that street, or you're going to that street later, 5 years later, I can be able to tell you, oh, there's a bump on the right side. There's another one. Avoid that, avoid that, avoid that. Now, how do you expect to pass through that journey when you don't know about that journey? So first of all, as a man, understand the journeys of your fathers. Now, in the case you can't, I don't know, but really try to understand it, or try to at least ask questions about it. Even if he can't tell you, get somebody that's close to him to understand. For me, that was one of the things that helped me to now, at least I think I'm doing a better job than my dad, right? So try to, as much as possible, understand their journey so that you don't take the same route or route, that they took to become who they became, right? So that you can become somebody better, take a better route, right? So if everybody's taking this side to the island, why don't you take this other side, which is a better road, right? And will save you more time, right? So try as much as possible not to do the same things, be as disciplined as possible. Because one of the things that, often makes us end up the way they ended up is that we try not to be as disciplined, right? Yeah. So you've spotted the things that are wrong, but you know that, okay, one of the weak points your father has is excess drinking, and he comes home really drunk and lays hands on your mother most of the time, and then you two decide to start drinking like him, and not just drinking, you now start doing excess drinking, right? Now you marry, and you feel like, one spirit is just going to come upon you, and you're not going to be beating your wife, right? You're going to go hang out with the boys, which is going to be a normal thing for you. And then you drink excessively. When your wife comes, who is coming from a different background, comes and asks you, why are you just coming? Why you shut up, pa? Yeah. So it's not like you think half of the guys that beat their wife want to beat them. No. Some of them, that's what they've seen. That's what they've watched, right? That's how they grew up. So you need to be disciplined enough to note those things, those triggers, and say, I don't want to go this way, And for someone like me who is already a father, I keep trying my best, I like OBA here. One of the things I've picked up from him is that their parents are in sync. They're a team, right? They're a team. They don't go against themselves, which is what I'm still learning, because I grew up as an independent guy, do my thing myself. I don't send anybody, So when I got married, I had to start running things by my wife. It's a hard thing to do. Trust me, if you grow up independently, it's a hard thing to do. I'll say, oh, baby, what do you think about this? And even that self, my wife thinks I'm not doing it enough. All right. She feels like I'm trying, but I can do better. And I'm learning by the day, So for me, it's also to learn to know how to parent, in a teamly way, or that we are working together as a team and not as competitors, right? So I'm not trying to make my daughter like me or you. No. We know that these children are our own, and we must be on the same team, have the same style, so that we are able to communicate the same values to them, basically.
All right, cool. I think we're done, but I don't know. I just feel the need to pray for guys out there. I don't know.
So you can't bring me here, come pray.
That's not the plan.
So Father, in the name of Jesus, we pray for every guy hurting out there, every man over there that is, willing to make things happen. I ask that you give them the boldness, to approach this thing. I ask that you help them. I ask that your grace shines upon them, that you fill their heart with so much love that they are able to make up with their fathers. And the boys that are listening to this, the guys that listen to this, their lives never remain the same after watching this, such that they are able to be transformed and make a new life with their fathers. In Jesus' name, amen.
Hi guys, I'm Obi. I'm a YouTuber, Instagrammer, and I'm also a marketer for a blockchain company.
My name is Faromi, and I'm a realtor and a media entrepreneur. And you're listening to the Letters to Boys.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. What's up? My name is Seun Shobo. And of course, I run the Voice of Our Academy, the Voice of Our Bank, and also the Voice of Our Drill, which altogether gives you the Voice of Our Solutions Group. And I'm here on Letters to Boys. It's been a wonderful time, and I want you to keep it locked down on Letters to Boys. All right? Peace.